Welcome people of Newnet, it's me KMD, welcome to another Daily Daylight video, and I would assume you are a new player in Dead by Daylight, and I would like to introduce myself for the new players and new viewers on the channel. My name is KMD, I am a P100 Dredge main, and I am the author of the Fold Initiation, which is a full extensive guide to the Dredge, which was recently approved by Oddsdarva himself. And in this video I would like to show you 10 tips on how to start playing Dredge and 10 things you just need to pay attention to when you're playing Dredge to gain a lot of effects at the start of your journey in playing Dredge. For more tips and tricks you should probably check out my guide, but this is like the base starting point. This is what you need to know to effectively play Dredge, and without that no other info will help you. So these are probably the 10 most essential tips for the Dredge specifically. Let's get into it. So for the first tip, I would like you to recognize what resources the survivor has near you and use your remnant to deny the stronger ones. While the remnant is a really strong tool against new players who don't really know how to counter the Dredge, stronger players will recognize the holes in your encircling movements and will be able to just hold W to a stronger tile or resource. Pay attention to your surroundings and decide which option is better for you, to either force a free hit or make the survivor move to a really weak part of the map. In most tiles, for example, you will have an option to choose between a jungle gym, which is a more complicated tile, most of the time it has a window and a pallet, or a path tile, which is a tile that is used to lead people into jungle gyms. And if you're, for example, on a path tile between these two tiles, the most optimal option is to place your remnant in a way that if they disengage from the pallet, they will go towards the path tile. We will talk about leading the survivors into specific areas, or better known as zoning in this community, a bit later in a different tip. For now, let's move on to tip number 2, which is to flick your camera while placing down the remnant. Whenever you place down the remnant essentially copies the entirety of your position to the place you started holding M2 in. And this includes your position on the map, and this also will include your camera position. So whenever your camera was placed while you started using your power, this will be the position your camera will be put when you teleport. Flicking your camera in a way that will point you towards the survivor whenever you teleport to it will massively decrease the confusion you get while you're playing this killer for the first time, and will secure hits that could potentially get out of your grasp if you are not facing the survivor when you teleport. This is the most important tip in this video probably. One of the most important tips for playing with Remnant is to make sure that your camera will be pointing towards the survivor whenever you teleport to the Remnant. So pay attention to your camera position. For tip number 3, I would like you to know when to disengage your Remnant. You suffer from a lower movement speed when using your power, so holding it after the survivor has already outplayed you and is holding W to a different tile will just make you waste so much of your time, essentially giving the survivors more time to put generators out of the game, and this will increase the chance of you losing. Always assume when playing killer that match time is gen time. There is no way in hell that if you waste time on killer, you will win a game. You need to be efficient with your time while playing as killer, and Dredge, which is relatively weak, he's like, in my opinion, like low B, but a lot of people put him even lower. Dredge requires you to play efficiently most of the time to succeed. So remember, match time is gen time, and if your play didn't really work out, make sure to let go of your remnant faster as soon as you notice the mistake and you notice that the survivor is no longer in the tile you're looping in. Tip number 4 is to learn M1 killer mind games. To play Dredge efficiently, you would be advised to know how to hide your red stain properly, bait double backs, moonwalks, etc. This will increase your lethality by a large margin and is a really big part of playing killer in general that is advised to be learned on every single character in the game, on 4.4 killers or 4.6 killers, and even on nerfs sometimes. So make sure to know the fundamental gameplay of killers as soon as you pick up Dredge, or at least a bit before that. For tip number 5, if possible, I would like you to use your power outside of line of sight when you're in a tall loop. By that I mean placing down, letting go, replacing, and teleporting to the remnant. That way survivors will have to rely on you making sounds with your power to track you through walls. They will need to remember and track your position through walls, which is not really reliable, to efficiently know where you and the remnant is, which will exponentially increase the chances of you getting a head on a tile. For tip number 6, I would like you to know that not every remnant you place down you have to teleport to. These are what I call temporary remnants. Temporary remnants are used to zone survivors to misposition themselves and to set up a remnant that will confirm the kill. Not every tile needs you to use temporary remnants, but I need you to know about their existence because some hits will be possible if you use temporary remnants and some will not be. Temporary remnants will cause survivors to be forced into situations in which they have no way out, and they either just have to be faster than you in inputs, or they have to mind game you in a specific way to possibly get out of the area. For tip number 7, you need to know that you are one of the best campers in the game and you need to use it to your advantage. You can intercept every off-hook heal by just teleporting to the locker that is nearby, unless there are like no lockers nearby, but that's besides the point. And also you can guarantee a tunnel out by teleporting to the upstairs locker when you hook someone in the basement. And of course, another type of remnant that you can utilize to make this a bit easier is trap remnants. Trap remnants are remnants that are hidden within the area of a hook, a generator, or basically any area you want to camp. If you hook someone, you can, for example, hide your remnant behind a doorway or a wall, and then when they unhook the survivor while you're still holding your power, you can teleport back to the hook and instantly start another chase. It's really efficient in late game scenarios, and I genuinely cannot recommend the strategy enough. Even though it's not as consistent as other strategies would be, it sometimes is just a waste of your time, so know when to use it. But yeah, you are one of the best campers and tunnelers in the game, so I want you to remember that and use it to your advantage. Tip number 8, if you are sure that a survivor is in the area you are teleporting to, you need to spam the shit out of the spacebar or whatever your input is for leaving the locker to leave the locker as soon as possible to give the survivors the least amount of time to hold W away from the area and pre-run. This will boost your element of surprise within your power to a great margin and will most of the time give you a lot of hits that you wouldn't normally get if you waited a bit with exiting the locker. Because yes, survivors do get an audio cue when you finish teleporting. Tip number 9, and also one of the most important tips in this video, you need to break your locks. Breaking your locks will give you so much macro pressure on the survivors because they will not be able to inflict direct counterplay to your power. You will waste so much time by not breaking your locks outside of chase and just breaking them when you actually teleport to it. You're wasting so much of your time that you could spend chasing survivors in the future by ignoring the locks earlier in the game. You need to take care of your macro pressure, which is going to be harmed by you ignoring your locks and not M1ing them down outside of chase when you have a short window of time to take care of these while you're patrolling an area as a killer. And for the final tip, I want you to know that during Nightfall you should probably use your killer instinct to your advantage. Essentially, whenever your power is put on cooldown during Nightfall, you will get a 60-meter killer instinct on every survivor in the area. So for example, if you're searching for the last survivor in the game, you should probably just teleport from locker to locker. Try to maybe spot them with the killer instinct, and whenever you hear the killer instinct, you need to get out of the locker and instantly bum rush to them. If you are, for example, in a scenario in which you want to pick up a survivor, I would suggest to quickly hold out your remnant and instantly teleport to it to scan the 60 meters nearby you and possibly find someone who is going for a save. Using your killer instinct to advantage will help you a lot with applying pressure and getting secure hooks, and I genuinely cannot recommend doing that enough. And that was the 10 tips on how to begin playing as the Dredge in Dead by Daylight. I hope that video was useful to everyone. I hope that everyone that is new to the game for the upcoming FNAF chapter is interested in playing the Dredge, because this killer needs a lot of mains, because it's really awesome and I love him. And I hope that video was helpful to you. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you took out so much information out of it, or at least as much information I could convey in a normal way. If you want to see more videos like this, I would recommend liking and subscribing to the channel to show me you want more. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, internet.